All right, so in this episode, we're going to talk about effects. And this gets real exciting because we get to have a lot of fun with some things. But first of all, Brandon, tell us what are effects?
Yeah, effects are basically an automated movement or change of color or dimmer or something like that that continues to happen until we tell it to stop.
Awesome. So first of all, let's just kind of go into effects and give me a kind of overview about what they can do.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a view for our effects pool. So we'll delete our sequence executor page right here. So just select it on the little yellow dot and hit delete window. It's not really gone. You can still click it back right there. But what we're going to do is click right here in the top left quadrant of that screen and click that. And then we're going to go to our Pools tab and then click Effects. You'll see that now populates some effects that I already have that I use a lot. So what we're going to do now is store that as a view. So we'll hit Store. And then we'll just do it like right here somewhere. And then we'll label it Effects, EFX. That's short for effects. And then hit Please. And then now that's stored there so we can easily recall the view that we want. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of things within these effects of just how to read them and what to look for. So you'll notice at the top you have some letters. For instance, on this one that's called Normal Chase, there's an A and a T. The A represents absolute, or in this case, this effect is an absolute effect, which basically means that it's never going, the values are going to go from low to high. So if the effect is a dimmer effect, in this case it is, and we say that effect is going to go from 0 to 100, it doesn't matter what the output is on stage. When you click that effect, the lights are always automatically going to go from 0 to 100. So it doesn't matter if their lights are at 50 or at 100, the values are going to change to 0 to 100 within that effect. You'll see the next letter over is a T. That means that this particular effect is a template effect, which means there are no lights or fixtures programmed into that effect. So that means that any light that has a dimmer parameter will be able to be affected by this effect. The other letters you'll see are R right here. That means that's a relative effect. That means that the effect is going to take place relative to whatever is being outputted from your lights. Usually these are used for pan and tilt or movement effects because you don't want your lights, you want your lights to go relative to where you're pointing them instead of like pointing them one way and then they swing across the stage to go to that effect. So we use relative for that. Then there's another letter that we'll see that we don't have any on here, we'll look at later, but it's S. The S stands for selective. That is opposite of the T right here. The T is where there's no lights programmed into that effect. The S means that only the lights that you have stored in that effect will be affected by it. So you can use those in cases where you want only these lights to do specific things, and that would be a selective effect. Most of mine that I use are template, so that way any light that has a dimmer or a pan and tilt or a color can use that effect. The other thing that you'll notice in these effects is at the very bottom you'll see a row of little boxes. Those little boxes correspond with your programmer tabs down here. So you'll see you have dimmer, position, gobo, color, beam, focus, and control. If you see like on Normal Chase, the first one is highlighted. That means that effect is a dimmer effect. If you look down, we'll scroll down, this can effect, number 7, has the second box illuminated. That means that that's a position effect. If you scroll down here a little bit more, we'll see that this one, number 12, has 2 boxes illuminated. That means that there are 2 attributes in that effect. So the first one is dimmer and the second one is color, so that corresponds with that. So that's just the basic way to read some effects. We'll create some later on, but I think if you understand what you're looking at when you look at the page, it'll help you out.
Awesome. All right, so next episode we'll dive in a little deeper and go from there. So see you then.
See ya.